Sex on the Mind, a story of love, science, and secrets. It was a quiet Thursday evening when Alex received a message from Gabriel. They'd met at a psychology conference just a few weeks ago, each drawn to the other by a shared fascination with the complexity of the human mind. Though their meeting had been brief, something clicked. Conversations that started in the lecture hall spilled into late-night phone calls, revealing a connection that felt both deep and unexpected. Gabriel, an emerging researcher in neurogenetics, had a particular passion for understanding sex differences in the brain. Alex, a professor of behavioral psychology, was equally invested in the subject but from a socio-cultural perspective. Their debates were lively, sometimes heated, but always respectful. Both of them were eager to understand the roots of human behavior, but while Gabriel leaned heavily on biology, Alex insisted that culture and experience played an equally significant role. That evening, the text from Gabriel read, "I think I've found something." It was cryptic, but it was enough to get Alex's attention. Within moments, they were on a video call. "I've been reanalyzing some brain scan data from a recent study. You know, the one where we thought we found no real differences between male and female brains." "Well, I dug deeper," Gabriel said, excitement palpable in his voice. Alex leaned closer to the screen. "Okay, I'm listening. What did you find?" Gabriel pulled up a set of brain scans, their colorful patterns glowing on the screen. At first glance, it looked like there was no real structural difference between male and female brains. But when I ran a multivariate analysis on the data, something clicked. It turns out, there are patterns, subtle ones, but they're there. Alex frowned. "So you're saying the differences are biological after all? That doesn't quite fit with the social influence hypothesis." Gabriel shrugged. "It's more nuanced than that. Yes, there are biological differences, but those differences alone don't dictate behavior. It's like, think of it as a mosaic. Each brain has regions that might be more masculinized or feminized, but these patterns are mixed. There's no strict male or female brain." Alex considered this for a moment. "But you can't ignore the role culture plays in shaping how those differences manifest in behavior. Brains are adaptable, aren't they? You know as well as I do that experience changes structure." Gabriel nodded, but he seemed restless. "I agree. But here's where it gets tricky. If we acknowledge that biology plays a role, even a subtle one, where do we draw the line between nature and nurture? And more importantly, how do we communicate that without it being twisted into men are naturally better at this or women are inherently that?" Alex sighed. It was the age-old debate in their field. The biological basis of behavior, especially in the context of sex differences, had long been a battleground for scientists, with strong opinions on both sides. Some argued that men and women were fundamentally different because of their biology, while others, like Alex, pointed to the pervasive influence of societal expectations and culture. "I see where you're going with this," Alex said, after a moment of silence. "But we can't ignore the risk. When we talk about biological differences, it's so easy for people to misconstrue that as determinism. That's what people like Jordan insist on, saying things like men are more aggressive because it's just how their brains are wired. It's not that simple." Gabriel's expression softened. I know. That's why this is so important. We have to find a way to balance the narrative. Acknowledge the biology, but not let it become the whole story. Their discussions went on for weeks, deepening their intellectual connection. They debated the latest findings in neuroscience, explored historical biases in research, and navigated the fine line between nature and nurture. All the while, something else was simmering beneath the surface, something neither was quite ready to acknowledge. One evening, as the conversation steered away from science, Gabriel admitted, "You know, I've been thinking about you a lot, Alex. More than just in terms of our work." Alex's heart skipped a beat. It wasn't entirely unexpected, but the admission caught them off guard nonetheless. They stared at the screen for a moment, searching for the right words. "I've been thinking about you too, Gabriel." The confession hung in the air between them, like a secret neither had intended to share but couldn't hold back any longer. Their relationship grew, built on both intellectual admiration and personal attraction. It wasn't long before Gabriel invited Alex to visit his lab in the city of Seville. Alex agreed, eager to see the work Gabriel was doing up close. The lab was exactly as Alex had imagined: sleek, modern, with the constant hum of computers and the faint scent of coffee in the air. Gabriel introduced Alex to his team, and they spent hours discussing the intricacies of the brain scans they had been analyzing remotely. Later, after the lab had emptied for the night, Gabriel took Alex to a small rooftop bar overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking, with the golden light of the setting sun casting long shadows across the old stone buildings. "I think we're onto something big," Gabriel said, taking a sip of his drink. "If we can find a way to show that biology and culture are equally important in shaping behavior, it could change the way people think about sex differences." Alex smiled, appreciating Gabriel's passion. "I think you're right. But it's not going to be easy. There are a lot of people who won't want to hear that their preconceived notions are wrong." Gabriel nodded, staring out at the horizon. "But that's why we're doing this. To challenge the way people think. To make sure the science isn't twisted to fit a narrative that's harmful." They sat in silence for a while, the weight of their work and their growing feelings for each other settling around them like the warm night air. The following morning, they returned to the lab, ready to dive deeper into their research. Gabriel had pulled up a new set of data from a study on brain plasticity, the way the brain changes and adapts in response to experience. "Look at this," Gabriel said, pointing to the screen. "It's incredible. You can actually see the way the brain rewires itself based on experience. It's not just small changes, either. These are significant." Alex leaned in closer, their curiosity piqued. "Ed, so you're saying that experiences, especially those tied to cultural and societal influences, actually reshape the brain over time?" "Exactly," Gabriel replied, eyes sparkling with excitement. "This is why the nature versus nurture debate is so outdated. It's not one or the other, it's both. The brain might start with a certain biological framework, but it's highly adaptable. Our experiences, the roles we're assigned, the expectations placed on us, all of it changes the way we think, behave, and even feel." Alex let out a low whistle. "This could be the key. If we can show how much the brain adapts based on social input, it'll prove that behavior isn't rigidly defined by biology." Gabriel nodded, but his expression turned thoughtful. "But there's something else. If brains are so malleable, then it means we need to be careful about the kinds of environments we create for people. If society keeps reinforcing certain roles like men being aggressive or women being nurturing, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The brain might literally reshape itself to fit those expectations. Alex smiled. I think that's where your mosaic theory comes in. No one's brain is entirely masculine or feminine, it's a blend, influenced by both biology and the world around us. Gabriel looked at Alex, a soft smile playing on his lips. That's why I love working with you, Alex. You always remind me that science isn't just about cold, hard facts. It's about people, about making sure what we discover doesn't hurt, but helps. Alex felt a warmth spread through their chest. We make a good team. They continued working side by side, sifting through data, challenging each other's ideas, and refining their hypothesis. Every discovery felt like a step closer to something groundbreaking. It was exciting, thrilling, even, but there was an unspoken tension between them, a current that neither had fully acknowledged since their rooftop conversation. As the days passed, their personal connection grew alongside their research. Gabriel was everything Alex admired: brilliant, passionate, but also deeply thoughtful. And Alex found themselves drawn to Gabriel not just as a colleague, but as something more. Their conversations, once purely academic, now meandered into more personal territory: family, fears, hopes for the future. The lines between work and personal blurred, and neither seemed in a hurry to redraw them. One evening, after a particularly productive day in the lab, Gabriel suggested they take a walk through the city. Seville was beautiful at night, the narrow streets illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns, the air filled with the distant hum of conversations and laughter. They wandered aimlessly, comfortable in each other's silence, until they reached the riverbank. They sat by the water, watching the gentle ripples reflect the moonlight. Gabriel turned to Alex, his voice softer than usual. You know, I've been thinking about something. Alex raised an eyebrow. Oh? What's on your mind? Gabriel hesitated, as if searching for the right words. I think I'm falling for you. The confession hung in the air, as delicate as the breeze that brushed past them. Alex's heart raced, but a smile tugged at their lips. I think I've been falling for you too. It was the kind of moment that felt suspended in time, as though the world around them had slowed just for the two of them. Gabriel reached for Alex's hand, and they sat there, fingers intertwined, neither needing to say anything more. Their relationship deepened after that night. It wasn't just about the work anymore, though the research remained at the core of their partnership. They spent days in the lab, challenging each other's ideas, and nights exploring the city, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments under the stars. But even as their bond grew, the work they were doing gained momentum. Their findings were attracting attention from other researchers, and it wasn't long before their collaborative paper was ready for submission. The central idea that the brain is a mosaic of masculine and feminine traits, shaped by both biology and experience, was poised to challenge long-held beliefs about sex differences. As they prepared to present their findings at an upcoming conference, they both knew their work would spark controversy. There would be those who clung to the idea that biology was destiny, that men and women were fundamentally different because of their brains. But Alex and Gabriel were ready for the challenge. They believed in their research, and more importantly, they believed in each other. The conference was held in a grand hall, packed with scientists, academics, and journalists eager to hear about the latest developments in neuroscience. As Alex and Gabriel took the stage, the weight of their work and their relationship seemed to settle on their shoulders. Gabriel began, outlining the biological basis of their research, explaining the subtle structural differences they had found between male and female brains. Alex followed, diving into the role of culture and experience in shaping behavior, emphasizing how societal expectations could alter the brain's structure over time. Together, they presented their mosaic theory, showing that no brain was purely male or female, but a blend of traits shaped by both nature and nurture. Their data was compelling, their arguments persuasive, and by the end of the presentation, the room was buzzing with excitement. As they stepped off the stage, Gabriel turned to Alex, a smile on his face. "We did it?" Alex smiled back, their heart full. "Yeah, we did." In that moment, they knew their journey was just beginning. The road ahead would be challenging, there would be critics, detractors, and debates. But with Gabriel by their side, Alex felt ready to face whatever came next. Together, they had uncovered something beautiful not just in their research, but in each other. And that, perhaps, was the greatest discovery of all.